Necessary Amendments, Milton Keynes. This film has 4 entwined parts. Part 1. Video footage of public artworks in Milton Keynes. Part 2. Pages from MK Insider, the internal newspaper of the Milton Keynes Development Corporation. Part 3. Clips from Open University Films.
Appearance and reality.
And Part 4. Extracts read from estate newspapers that were written by the earliest residents of Milton Keynes. In the Springfield Rifle, issue number 17, a letter makes some suggestions on the topic of public artworks. Dear Sir, Madam, I have previously used these pages to note the erection of certain works of arts, monuments, concrete cows around Milton Keynes. Since I last noted, however, I have now noted the arrival of a black horse at the city centre. Now if, as seems to be the case, such things are going to be dumped, willy-nilly as it were, around MK, I would like to take this opportunity to make a few humble suggestions. I suggest that a similar system to that used by the GPO is followed. They produce commemorative stamps. Why not produce commemorative artworks? For instance, in 1980, it will be the 1528th anniversary of the pillage of Rome by the Vandals. Why not put up a few rude pillaging-type frescoes on the walls of the subways around MK? 1980 is also the 513th anniversary of the failure of Lambert Simnel's rising. Mind you, if he failed to have a rising then, why should he deserve an erection now?
Must a good film on art be, in the first place, a good film? Is there not a case for deliberately inhibiting the camera so that its subject may dominate?
There are over 220 public artworks in Milton Keynes. The stated aim of Milton Keynes Council is that public art in Milton Keynes is about inviting the vision, creativity and skills of artists to engage people freely with place in a well-considered way.
You must make up your own mind. What is certain is that Rodin had no say in the film.
Part 4, Chapter 2, Paragraph 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Can we have the light back again?
Many of the stories submitted to the estate newspapers presented dystopian visions of the future. In Oh Mac, from Simca, we follow the story of 6 children who moved into Milton Keynes at the same time. The story tells of giant excavators coming alive and people being turned into robot-like creatures. In the 6th instalment, we find the children trapped in an underworld described as like living in a rainbow with billowing gases all around them, a world like the glass which you see in modern buildings that changes as light shines from different directions. In a different story, Charles Millington Jr., Space Patrol, which was published in the Netherfield News, the perils of the future present themselves in more mundane terms. "Damn this toothbrush," muttered Charles Millington Jr. "Whoever heard of an electric toothbrush that isn't waterproof?"
What connections would you say there are between design, technology, and the future?
Yes.
We tend to take it for granted that the future will unfold as a shinier version of the present with ever more advanced technology. What values and assumptions do you think are built into these proposals, also from a BBC Horizon film, for some future uses of television?
It's that country magic and you'll find it everywhere. It's that country magic and you'll find it everywhere.
Part 4, Chapter 10, Paragraph 2. In City Lights, further exasperation is expressed. Some weekends ago, the Development Corporation opened the site of the Roman villa at Bradwell to the public. It's not a very exciting place as Roman villas go, but nearly 4,000 people flocked there over the 2 days. So why? Perhaps they wanted proof that there used to be some proper houses in this city of ours. Anyway, the Development Corporation knows how to deal with this sort of problem. It's going to cover the whole lot with sand and earth, so only the worms can see what once was.
Because you start with information about the past and the present, and, making assumptions, look forward into the unknown. They show not a certain future, but many possible lines of development, dependent on social choices and actions.
Part 4, Chapter 23, Paragraph 6. Straight liners rule, okay? It still aches trying not to think. I can prove it. You know I don't want any logic. I don't want to think. I'll just watch television. Do my job. Sleep. Television. Do my job. That's all that's wanted today. Not men that think. Not men to think and upset anyone or anything. I mean to say policemen can't chase telewatchers or sleepers. Straight liners rule, okay?
Given that we are relatively conscientious about the respect due to an artist and his work, how do we respond to films which subtly or blatantly distort the original content and meaning of the work of art?
Let's have another example of that. If you go out on a night when the moon is near the horizon, then the moon will look much bigger than it looks if it's right above you in the sky. Now, if you were to hold out a ruler, as I've got in my hand here now, and measure off with at the length of your arm how much the size of the moon is, I think you'd find it was something between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch of the ruler when it's at the horizon. If you do the same when the moon is overhead, you'll find it's the same. Perspectively, the two appearances are the same. But the moon on the horizon, near the horizon, looks bigger. That is to say, looking at it, it's as if you were seeing something which was bigger, or something which was nearer to you than when it's up above.
Part 4, Chapter 12, Paragraph 2. From In It Gone Quiet by Jack Trevor Story. Published in City Lights. Sung to the tune of the Teddy Bear's Picnic. There's nowhere to go after Milton Keynes. It's a difficult town to follow. Where else can you live without the means? In a little house down in a hollow? For Jock and Fred there's lots to be said. They'll plan your life until you're dead. And after that, if you're not too fat, you'll make the trees grow.
But there are limitations too in the mindless enforcement of objectivity. No music, no commentary, shot on the spectator's eye level, as simple a record as one could get.
Part 1, Chapter 3. O Wert Thou in the Cold Blast, a public artwork by Ronald Ray from 1984, named after the poem by Robert Burns. O wert thou in the cold blast, on yonder lea, my pladdie to the angry earth, I'd shelter thee, Or did misfortune's bitter storms around thee blow, thy beard should be my bosom, to share it all. In a poem submitted to the Noose by Liz Wright, an alternative vision of a cold blast is presented. The house where I live doesn't leak. The floors don't bounce or jump or squeak. The walls are soundproof, quite unique. But then I do pay £14 a week.